Go.
Hi class!
Hi, Mr. Nahum!
I'm so excited to be with you all today. So in today's lesson, we're going to be reading Maddi's Fridge, which is a short story written by Lois Brandt and illustrated by Vin Vogel.
Yay!
Alright, so before we begin reading, I'm just going to let you all know that I will be asking questions as we go along. And I want you all to participate. Just remember to raise your hand in order to be called upon.
Okay.
When Sophia and Maddi played at the park, they stretched their toes to the sky. They climbed to the top of the ladder and flew off the end of the slide. They stayed until the buildings grew long shadows and even the taxi stopped honking. "Let's play on the climbing wall," Maddi said. "No way," Sophia said. "I can't reach." "Yes way." Maddi scooted up to the top of the wall. "Your turn." Sophia put a foot on the bottom rock, grabbed with one hand, and stretched, but she couldn't reach the next hold. Sophia's stomach growled. "I give up. Let's get a snack." "No way," Maddi said. "Let's stay here." "Yes way." Sophia ran to Maddi's building and raced up the stairs. "Wait," Maddi ran after her. Maddi was the best climber, but Sophia was the fastest runner. Okay, class. So what do you guys think the story is about so far? Oh, I see a hand. Yes, Zoe.
Ooh. I think the story is about girls and how they are strong. The feminist lens applies here. They can run fast and climb high. This is a break from traditional portrayals of girls by describing girls as playful, athletic, and adventurous.
Wow, Zoe, that was really amazing, thoughtful, and smart. And I do think it's appropriate to read the story through a feminist lens. Does anyone else have any more input? Yes, Leo.
Oh, okay, thank you. So, Mr. Nahum, if I may, I'd like to examine the text just a little more closely. I noticed that the author used the word stretched in a few ways. On page 1, she writes, "They stretch their toes to the sky." This is using a metaphor because they can't literally stretch their toes to the sky. On the next page, she uses the word stretched again, this time changing or enhancing, if you would, the meaning of the word by literally stretching its appearance on the page. Just in case you were wondering, I'm using both formalist and deconstructionist lenses to appreciate the text.
Wow, Leo, that was brilliant. And that was a whole lot more than I was expecting from one of my third grade students. But in any case, we have more story to go through, so let's keep on chugging. Sophia swung open the door of Maddi's fridge. "What have you got?" "We have milk," Maddi said. "I'm saving it for Ryan. He's still little." "Why doesn't your mom go to the store?" Sophia said. "We don't have enough money." "But what if you get hungry?" "We have some bread," Maddi said. "I guess I'll go home to eat," Sophia said. "Please don't tell anyone," Maddi said. "Okay. Promise?" "I promise." So, what other ideas have you guys got?
Please.
Yes, Clem.
Ooh. So personally, when I heard you reading about how there's only a little milk in the fridge, it made me feel so sad. Like I thought about my own fridge and how there are a lot of things in there for me to eat. And I felt like I never really had the experience of an empty fridge. We are clearly dealing with a very different reality than my own. That's my reader's response.
Oh, Clem, your reader's response was very illuminating. Does anyone have anything else to say?
Ooh.
Yes, Orin.
Ooh. Thanks for picking me, Mr. Nahum. I'm just bursting to talk. I think the cultural context of the story so far reflects real issues we are grappling with today. In the setting of the COVID-19 pandemic, even more so, and that is hunger and access to food. Obviously, right now, kids are not playing in the park together, but neither are kids getting access to school breakfast and lunch as easily. And Kids at risk for hunger are even more at risk right now. I also noticed Maddi asking Sophia promised not to tell her about her empty fridge. This plants a seed in the story for a psychological motif. What will Sophia do about Maddi's lack of food? And also the promise she makes to her.
That was super, Oren. I like the way you used both new historical and psychoanalytical lenses in your response. Okay, let's keep on reading. Sophia ran home past the bookstore and grocery store. The sun went down behind the buildings and took all the colors with it. Good timing, Mom said. Dinner's almost ready. Louis was wrestling on the floor with Pepito. Sophia opened the refrigerator door. Pepito peeked inside. Sophia's fridge was full of milk and eggs and tortillas and cheese and lettuce and jam and salsa and tofu and even half a can of dog food. Here you go, Mom said. Sophia and Louis each had a plate of fish and rice. Mom had a plate of fish and rice. Even Pepito had his bowl of dog food with a little bit of fish and rice. Maddi and Ryan only had some bread and a small carton of milk. Sophia couldn't tell Mom. She had to keep her promise to Maddi. Not fish again, Louis said. I want cheesy pizza bombs. Cheesy pizza bombs are a treat, Mom said. Fish is a good source of protein. Is fish good for kids? Sophia asked. Yes, Mom smiled. Fish is perfect for kids. That night, Sophia had an idea. Yuck, Maddi said the next day. Oh, Sophia said, double yuck. Fish may be good for kids, but fish is not good for backpacks. After school, Sophia and Maddi raced to the climbing wall. Sophia got there first, but Maddi scrambled past her to the top of the wall. Sophia stretched and stretched. Keep trying, Maddi said. You'll get it. I can't, Sophia jumped down. It's too high. So class, is the author trying to persuade you of anything in this day? What aspect does this story appeal to you? Is it ethos or ethical appeal? Pathos, emotional appeal, or logos, appeal to logic? Anyone want to answer the question?
Pick on me.
Okay, Julia.
Okay, so for me, the primary tool of persuasion in this story is pathos, or emotional appeal. As Sophia's eating dinner with her family, which is nutritious, she thinks about Maddi only having a bit of bread. The primary tool of persuasion here is pity, a rhetorical tool based on emotion or pathos. But come to think of it, there's also logos, or logic. Sophia learns from her mom that fish is a good source of protein and good for kids. Sophia uses that logic to then decide to sneak some fish in her backpack and share it with Maddi the next day. Of note, ethos or ethical appeal in the story is one friend trying to help another friend without breaking a promise. Also, I couldn't help but notice that Sophia had a lot of different foods in her fridge. Some are ethnic, such as tortillas or tofu. Tortillas are classically Mexican and tofu is Asian. Having different ethnic foods in one fridge is both post-colonial phenomenon made possible historically after so many power struggles and the incorporation of different food stuffed into homes and diets of various individuals. Also, in terms of critical race theory, there is a leveling of the playing field here, or a subtle setting in the stage for non-inferiority of one food type over another, implying non-inferiority over one race over another.
Julia, that was just incredible. I think I just heard 4 critical theories, lenses in your response. Historical, post-colonial, critical race theory, and rhetorical. I'm pretty sure we are not in the 3rd grade anymore. Let's read on and see what other insights this class has. That night, Sophia, Louis, and Mom are frittata. Pepito has his dog food with a little bit of frittata. Maddi and Ryan still had an empty refrigerator. Sophia couldn't ask for help. That would break her promise. She had to try again. Are eggs good for kids? Sophia asked. Not as good as cheesy pizza bombs, Louis said. Cheesy pizza bombs are a treat, Mom said. Eggs are good for you. After dinner, Sophia packed eggs for Maddi and Ryan. Yuck, Maddi said. Double yuck, Sophia said. Eggs may be good for kids, but eggs are not good for backpacks. Sophia and Maddi raced to the climbing wall. Sophia won again, but Maddi shot past her to the top of the wall. Sophia grabbed one hold, reached for the next, and came down with a thump. That happens sometimes, Maddi called. This is impossible, Sophia said. Keep trying, Maddi said. You'll get it. That night, Sophia, Louis, and Mom had burritos. Pepito had his dog food with a little bit of burrito and no salsa. Maddi and Ryan still had an empty fridge. Sophia wished she hadn't promised Maddi. Are burritos good for kids? Sophia asked. Burritos are very good for you, Mom said. Not as good as, Louis started to say. You should pay attention to nutrition like your sister, Mom said. The next morning, Sophia put 2 burritos in her backpack along with tortillas, beans, cheese, and even some milk. No thanks, Maddi said. You haven't even looked, Sophia said. Is it fish? Maddi asked. No. Is it eggs? No. Is it gross? I don't know, Sophia said. Maddi shook the backpack. Something sloshed. Let's look together, Maddi said. 1, 2, 3, go! Burritos are good for kids and good for backpacks too. Do you want some milk? Sophia asked. Thanks, Maddi said, but I'll save the milk for Ryan. Sophia and Maddi raced to the climbing wall. Sophia won as usual and tried to climb. You can do it, Maddi said. Take my hand. Woohoo! I made it to the top, Sophia shouted. We're the tallest kids in the park, Maddi said. Thanks for helping me, Maddi. I couldn't do it alone. Maddi shrugs. That's what friends are for. After they finished playing, Sophia walked home past the bookstore and the grocery store. Her own fridge was full of milk and juice and chicken and yogurt and bread and carrots and even a half can of dog food. She thought and thought and thought. Maddi's fridge only had 2 tortillas and a cup of beans and a bit of cheese and a little more milk than before.
So, any feedback on what I just read, class?
Me.
Okay, Brianna, go ahead.
So what I want to say is that what appeals to me about this story so far is how it's rooted in Louis Brandt's own biography. I read that she was inspired to write this story by her own true life event where she went to a friend's house with an empty fridge. It's really powerful to learn that this story was based on the own author's experience. I also wondered what Louis Brandt's response was in real life, according to the Marxist theory. There is usually a divide between classes. Maddi's empty fridge implies that she does not have economic means and represents an imbalance in power between her family and Sophia's family. Within that imbalance, we see that milk is a scarce source and is saved for Maddi's brother. It is saved because he is younger, more like a vulnerable individual with different physical abilities and needs from his sister. Or maybe the milk is saved for him because he's a boy, and boys might be the ones who get better nourished in order to be strong enough to go out in the workforce and earn income or fulfill some other gender role. I think this story is not conclusive on its take on critical disabilities, Marxist theory, or gender studies.